the writer say I know if I would have own Facebook.
But I thought on a big friend. I mean, I think so. When I did big friend, when I a big friend.
I don't even know the man.
And I just
live and see Black there come on.
A black a big friend. Me get that wrong then. A black a big friend.
Who was my friend?
Lee Chin. He made it the top 20 billionaire in the world. So we are saying if you can help us, help us, give us look like change.
You know what's interesting? I emceed a function where he was the guest speaker.
Oh.
And I was giving jokes left, right, and center. And before he came out, when I introduced him, he grabbed the mic and said, "Boy, Mr. MC, I envy your brain." I said, "I envy your bank account."
Boy, that's good. That's a good one. Oh my gosh. So we have the crew together. Good evening, everybody. Hey, it's good to see a long time to see you. Because last night, right? I thought last night was Monday night. So I said tomorrow the show, man. And then tonight is actually Wednesday and not Tuesday. But we're gonna do this every Wednesday for this month.
Yeah,
not only Leo can't count, but he never know the days of the week or Sunday, Monday.
Leo, which primary school did you attend, Leo?
The
days of the week. Monday.
I have to have a rhythm with it too, in a black and
yes.
What do you mean?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Those were the days, boy.
Why? I wonder if they still do that. They still use music to help out the kind of learning because, it's like 2 1 2. 2 2 4. 2 2 4.
Because you just have to go with the rhythm. You never
have to go with it. Hey, some of them don't know anything of them, just go with it. Some of them just go with it. They don't know anything.
I hope the teacher no stop and say,
exactly. What you say? By the time I got to 6th grade, I had to know my 18 and 19 by 19.
What is that?
18 by 18 and 19 by 19.
That's
no.
It went up to 12. It went up to 12 by 12.
Yes.
But my teacher in grade 6, we had to go up to 19 by 19.
That was cruel.
It was really cruel. She name is Parker. I call her name is Parker. She dead long time now, about 40 years.
She wanted the best for you.
What you say?
She wanted the best for you.
I know. All the way turn out something. So little goodish. Good evening, everybody. It's good to see you. I've not seen you in about 4 days. That's a long time.
Yeah.
I want to welcome everybody to the show this evening. All the persons who are out there in Jamaicans.com land and over in Facebook land. Welcome to the show tonight. We have, number one by one was Attorney Michelle Fanger. 2 by 2 was Dr. Diana Davis Smith. 3 by 3 is 3 by 3 was me, and then 4 by 4 is Owen Blacker Ellis. 4 by 4.
4 by 4. 4 by 4. That big.
It look hard.
It's a big piece about that.
Why? Okay. Before we get going, Blacker, you have anything to start with? You want to tell us this tonight? Anything on your mind that you want to tell us?
I've been having a very hard time dealing with people's responses to some of these acts against our women. Oh. And invariably, I get turned out by people who try. When somebody say, "I'm shouldn't kill her butt," when I hear that butt, I lose it.
Yes, yeah, man, man.
And every attempt to rationalize the action of these despicable men just throw me completely off guard, and I lose myself, because it's what America does when police kill a black man. Well, suddenly them try to dig up him negative past, and I don't care. He's dead. He can't undie. So why do we need to and I heard a voice note going around, purportedly from police who was interviewing the man who killed Kenneth Jackson and trying to suggest that he was spending money on her. I don't care if he was giving her gold every day.
No,
And the idea that men feel ownership of women's bodies because them do them a favor is something we have to change in our country. It's just sad. So that's what was on my mind all day today, and I have to just vent.
We're gonna come back to it. We are definitely gonna come back to that. Definitely gonna come back to that. That's a great topic. One by one, Attorney Michelle Fanger, yeah, anything you want to talk about this? Anything that on your mind you want to tell us?
Boy, just to have life, and we haven't got a whole COVID has passed me by, but just that, in regards
you by? Hold on there. It passed you by?
That happened. I haven't got COVID. I pray every day before I go out, But it's just like with everything that's happening now, seeing that how the vaccine is now available for individuals, 16 and over here, and to see the magnitude of people taking the vaccine, I'm just hopeful that we will have it under control before the end of the year.
Okay.
In regards to other countries getting the vaccine.
2 by 2, Diana Davis Smith.
I think I want to start off by sending happy birthday greetings to a friend of mine. She's celebrating her 50th birthday today. I don't know how she got there, but for some reason, so Nikki Monroe sending her birthday greetings. I don't know, I kind of feel sad like Blacker on those matters of the messages that go around, which always seem to be justifying some wrong thing. I, however, like a video that I saw. Well, it was just a clip that I saw. And the clip said that it's a notice from the police that you're to report illegal parties. And the person had a response to report 2 particular parties. And I thought it was really hilarious.
Yeah.
And they were demanding for them to be closed down too.
There's not supposed to be fun here, okay? We just stop with Okay, so what's on my mind? Last year I came down to Jamaica with, was it last year? Yeah, last year, 2020, January, came down to Jamaica with 22 diaspora members to come sit down and talk with the PIOJ and the USAID and the CDC and the SDC, all of these organizations, just trying to determine, needs, find gaps and look at challenges. And I brought a young lady down there with me. Her name is Denise McLaughlin. Well, Denise was found dead in her place last week, Friday.
Tammy says not Jamaica she lives.
No, she lives in Connecticut, but she's Jamaican.
Okay.
And the police report says that she had been dead since Saturday before, 6 days.
Whoa.
And the police report says that her son has confessed to the killing.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
So she's been on my mind today, all day.
The devil is loose.
Yeah.
Hey.
So the thing, it's not a little boy now, it's in his 20s. He's in his 20s. He according to the report also that he's on crack or cocaine, and that he checked himself into a psych hospital. That's where they got him. That's where they picked him up. So Denise is on my mind. She's at JD Tan. She was at JD Tan co-chair at the Jamaica Diaspora Agriculture Task Force. So anyway, all right.
I'm really sorry for that. And let me tell you, I really feel the pain for her family for such a loss. But then for the offender to be a family member again is just a double whammy for them. And to be her own child, you know. May her soul rest
How
in peace.
does a boy? She died from multiple stab wounds in her belly and in her neck, right? How does a boy look at his mom, stab him and stab her and kill her? Because generally, even if you're mentally deranged, your mother is generally the only person that can front you. How do you?
Well, you have to look at the psyche, and you have to have a psychologist or somebody tell you, because usually they say when they block out, you don't really see the person that you think you're seeing. Sometimes they see images of other people when they attack.
And they see the devil and all kind of things.
Yeah. So you would have to go into his mind to understand what happened. But usually when people do, like when you watch those shows on ID Network, when you talk to those people who commit those crimes, they always say they black out. Like it's not who you think. Like,
you know, they don't see the real person.
Yeah. So we don't know what happened with him, you know.
I guess we're waiting.
Investigation, you know, and things will come out.
We're waiting for it. We're waiting for it. Join us, ladies and gentlemen. We're here, and we're here on Tuesday nights. For this month, we'll be here on Wednesday nights. For this month, the month of April, we'll be here every Wednesday night. We're back to Tuesday night in May. And on Saturday mornings, we're here at 10 o'clock in the morning. I expect a surprise guest tonight, so I hope that you guys are ready for the surprise guest.
Oh, you never told us.
Surprise! Dog!
Heart attack.
Make him go on, man.
Or reader lady gonna read.
That's a surprise. I'm gonna do no work here, Michelle.
Exactly.
Make him guess come read.
Our reader lady is gonna read the first news article tonight.
And the first news article coming to you here tonight is CDC says that all American people must come to Jamaica. CDC says
that includes
all Americans should avoid travel to Jamaica. Right. In an updated travel advisory, the United States top public health agency, the CDC, has urged all Americans not to travel to Jamaica. This includes Americans that are fully vaccinated.
Is that right?
Yes. I had to read it twice. The sentence says, this includes Americans that are fully vaccinated. I don't understand why. On April 2nd, the CDC issued a level 4 advisory for Jamaica.
Yes, that's high.
The highest level for COVID-19 cases. Level 4 is the highest. You don't get no higher.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The agency said that because of the current situation on the island, even fully vaccinated travelers may be at risk for getting and spreading COVID-19 and should avoid all travel. The CDC stated that if any American must travel to Jamaica, they should get fully vaccinated first. It kind of contradictory to me because they said
they shouldn't come, even though if you have to do it, that's the caveat there. If you have to. Yes, like Attorney Michelle Fanger says she want to go to Jamaica.
You know, have to. Additionally, the agency urged all Americans to wear a mask, stay 6 feet from others, avoid crowds, and wash their hands regularly while on the island.
All that are not important right now. The important part is the first part where Michelle say them bright, and you come and say the same thing, them bright.
Oh, really?
No, but you know, that's not just the US, right? They just have to make people know, ooh, the US. We say you're at 4, nobody traveled there. But it's good for Jamaica still.
Oh, is it? Tell me about that.
The less people travel in, because hopefully more people would read the advisory and not travel in. Because a lot of people traveling with the virus too. So it helps to protect Jamaica a little, the citizens. So
Blacker,
stay home.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What's the implications here? And you know,
The immediate thing for me is the implications for our tourism sector, which is a major money earner, and for which many people who are already out of jobs are having difficulties keeping their jobs. So that's just going to make that even more difficult. And but part of me is saying, serve us right, because it's not because once we hit the community spread level, I think would have done a better job with managing, controlling, if people were really adhering to the protocols. But we're not doing it. Every single day I pass on the road, and the people behave as if COVID not keep. So,
you make it sound like a school. You make it sound like a school.
Yeah. I mean, if I walk with a camera tomorrow and just record with the people gathered on the road in the inner cities, no mask, bungle up, rub up, and I'm like, don't they understand tax office? And I'm like, don't they understand what's happening? So I mean, sometimes it takes these drastic actions to make us say, boy, we need to just fix up and change up.
Yeah, but
I think it's about right.
Yeah, I don't even think you have any major impact, because the US always have Jamaica at some level, even in regards to crime. And as you see, it doesn't hinder anybody from traveling, because if they look at the US, at every state that have the higher rate going up, they go look at Jamaica and be like,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You know, not that I'm just shutting it down. I know that the travel tourists, what do they call them again? Agencies, the travel agencies, they watch that clock and they tell their people don't go. They tell their people don't go.
Yeah, but the thing is that all of last year, you know, before that, we had a high rate for crime. We're on the high list.
Yeah.
They said the numbers are through the roof.
Yeah.
COVID happening now, we have a lot of tourists.
COVID keeping.
Yeah.
So to me, based on the numbers, it doesn't impact how they categorize Jamaica.
I think Jamaicans are still gonna go home.
Yeah.
But the general population of tourists, you know, who are you know, Americans, white Americans and Black Americans, who are non-Jamaicans, they are probably gonna stay put.
But
Diana.
Yeah, I figure that people will still come, but it's alarming for the tourism sector, for the few dollars that the locals would benefit from, you know, in terms of compensation from the industry. But I think that we're not to be too eager to reopen the tourism sector whole scale and expose those Jamaicans because we don't have the vaccines.
You know, I saw a police motorcade in one of the videos. I don't know if you guys saw that. Right? There was a video where there were about 6 police vans, the pickups. They were clearing the street, but people who are not wearing masks,
compliant,
and they're taking them to jail.
Why?
And each of the van back completely packed with people.
No
not
6
wearing any
feet
mask.
apart.
Not wearing any mask. No, they're packed on top of each other and making noise. I'm saying, hold on.
that doesn't make no sense.
Did you see that video? Did you see that video?
Yeah, but it doesn't make no sense. If they were locking them up, they should have put on masks.
And them, right?
Yeah.
Hey, because I'm going to the station now and go contaminate everybody in the station.
Including the police officers themselves.
You know,
I have always found it kind of absurd. The whole lockup prison thing, I've always found absurd. I have been on the record of saying in my comedy hat, not being serious, but I say it anyway, that, for example, the burglary law, when they arrest a man for burglary, they send him to jail where peer man there. What's the point? I'll never get it. So you're on the road being unsafe, so take it in a van back where you're still unsafe, to go to jail where you're still unsafe. What's the point?
Exactly.
you know, I had a Bogayo today, you know, in thought, you know, there's a guy, I think it is governor of Montana, I think it is, who quickly got rid of the law for wearing masks a few weeks ago. And today, he get COVID.
Wow.
He don't get no COVID.
Poetic justice.
Say,
No COVID in yet.
oh my God. Diana, we're waiting for
Yes.
you for story next story two.
All right, story number 2. There is hope yet. It says, Chang, who is the Minister of National Security, pitches ENDS.
Hold on, one. You're disturbing the news reporter. You already gone. Okay? All right. Oh, we don't know yet. All right, start over here, news reporter.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. And this is serious news. This is a serious statement. Chang, the Minister of National Security, pitches ENDS, ENDS in capital, as crime cure. In pitching an end to crime, in pitching ENDS as the crime cure. Let us get into it. And there's a picture of him.
ENDS going to end crime. ENDS going to end crime.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
No, it went cure it. He didn't say end it. He said
okay,
cure.
all right.
And there's a picture of him standing beside a jerk pan in a lady who have on her mask and her chef clothes, and him have the fork. Oh, and him hugging her up, not 6 feet. Okay.
Him have a double mask, man, remember?
Yeah, but no, don't know, tell us say double mask and then you can hug up. Anyway, let us continue. So the story says, National Security Minister Dr. Horeace Chang believes that the piloted e-commerce national delivery solution ENDS, linking customers in St. Andrew, Portmore, St. Catherine, and Montego Bay, St. James with food service providers during the weekend lockdowns will eventually help to lower criminal activity and sustain economic growth. There are 2 aspects of this program. As in the medium term, what we are looking at is keeping the economy turning. Once there's an increased economic activity, it will mean less crime and fewer people on the road where they could get caught up in illegitimate activity, Chang said. Following a meeting with jerk chicken vendors and restaurant operators in Montego Bay who have signed up with ENDS.
When are we going to start using
but I read no more
empirical? When are we going to start using empirical data to make decisions? He says he believes. Read the first sentence. Is it he believes.
Yes. So
you don't make those kind of statements, do you?
The National Security Minister, Dr. Horeace Chang, believes that the piloted e-commerce national delivery solution linking will eventually help to lower criminal activity and sustain economic growth. So there's hope yet.
Okay, Blacker. You see a itch.
Blacker, I have a thing to say. No, make Blacker say nothing.
You might laugh.
Oh, make Blacker say. So you make me read the next story or move on.
Yes, please. Move on.
Move on. Well, no. Hold on. Move on. I think that attorney Michelle Fanger has a comment.
To be honest, I would have to get additional information, like a research. To see, because he's making suggestions, so we'll have to get the data and additional information to see, you know.
Yes.
I don't see how it's gonna work, but I guess at this point, try anything, right?
Yes. I don't know.
But I thought ENDS, you know, help me here. Is it going to continue after?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's simply a pilot now, but they intend to continue it. And it's a great idea. It's a great idea. a great idea. You can stay wherever you are and order your food and you come
No,
here.
no. I think
Although,
that's what we do here. There's just no doubt.
yeah,
But I don't
right.
know that it's
Yeah, it is a good idea, but when you put the crime to
the
it,
crime part.
everybody like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everybody's praising it, and then he just say, I don't know if because he's seen all this praise for it, then he's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's a thing for crime. Everybody's like, what? Like, come on, really?
Diana,
Gosh.
go ahead.
Yes, well, on must see what Nancy Brown said, because Nancy Brown listen, I agree.
Tell me.
Sorry, yourself. But anyway, I really don't see it as a solution. I think that they have sufficient delivery systems that were in place to support the different food houses. I think what it has done though is to incorporate the jerkman, who perhaps never was included in that option. But there's so many complaints in social media about one not getting all of the meal, that the charge for the delivery is just so unaffordable that it's not going to be sustainable. So the idea of it is really kind of good, but if I have to pay $1,500 to have 2 burgers delivered to me, I know how much time I going to order.
But that's what he said
in
though.
itself.
That's what the minister said, the junior minister. He said that people misinterpret what it is. Like ENS is just facilitating all of these restaurants. So they set their prices. They don't charge any money for using the system or anything. So, but people were confused because they assume it's ENS that's charging. But they say it's not, it's the restaurants.
All right, so whose program, whose
Who
app is
paid
it?
for the delivery?
Whose app is it?
The government, but they said
The government is paying for the hosting and everything of this app.
It's simply a platform.
Just a platform. They said not.
I mean, it's another platform like that platform there that did expose about is another platform.
They said they had another one. I heard about one named Quick Plate that used to do delivery. Oh, you're talking about this one.
I listen to Diana.
But I think a lot of misinformation and people were misinformed. But I think the guy said he's going to clarify it on the radio because people are blaming him about the high cost they have to pay for people to deliver the food. Yeah,
if the jerkman is delivering something, who's going to pay for the delivery? It has to be the customer.
Yeah,
it's passed on. It's passed on to the customer, and it's the same thing here. When we use Uber Eats or what the other one name again, Groupon and whatever they do, that's the same thing. But it's not that expensive. Probably $2 or $3 per delivery.
Yeah, depending on the location,
depending on where you are. And so it's a great. It's just that it was just strange to hear it being tied to time. Right? That's really a strange one. And we're going to listen to the minister tomorrow evening on Jamaican connection with the ambassador tomorrow evening. So tune in. He may expound on the topic tomorrow.
Yeah, because we would need additional information, to make a good assessment. Yeah. Because it just look like something just said.
Fly off at the top like that.
Yeah. No,
He probably never mean it in a serious way and then misquote.
Let's blame the news.
The media does that though. They like
they do.
Take one soundbite and make it into a whole story.
Yeah.
He probably never mean it in that way. Must stand up there and him say, boy, this could have put an end to the crime.
Kind of say like, I believe. So maybe he just was talking like, I believe it will end crime. I believe.
Probably was joking about it. But those kind of things, as a leader, you have to be so careful of what you say because the media is always following you and stuff. So Blacker, I agree with you. Sit back and just chill out, Panawana.
Yeah, true.
All right, so Diana.
Yes.
What the other topic?
Oh, you don't even pay me for the work, and come at
the service fee. The service fee just get paid to your check your bank account.
You never know my bank account.
You want me to read some of the comments?
Yeah. No, why? Yeah, no, your job that.
Okay, Jordan Hall said, some of these people are possessed, if you ask me. The
that was about the boy who killed his mom.
Yeah. Joanne Richardson said, "Oh my God, my heartfelt condolences to the entire circle of family and friends. We live in a very sick world." Carlton Riggs said, I guess this is to the CDC. They said not to travel to Canada either.
Okay. So
They
we must feel
required it.
comfortable because but Canada
You
have
know,
resources where we not have over here. Canada
Canada
not
have some
depend on
serious restrictions, you
tourism.
know. They have some
Canada
serious
have,
restrictions.
serious.
them have Heil.
See,
Heil.
we not have no oil down here.
Another person, Nancy Brown says, I support the advice. I can see UK putting them on the red list. The Jamaicans are very non-compliant. Even with the strict lockdown, they still kept parties and bars open after hours. The tourist minister announced today visitors went up for the Easter. So I guess the numbers increase over Easter for visitors. And
Um,
Diana Brandy Sir Briggy, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. Travel agents are also advising us not to travel to Jamaica and recommending other islands. Say
yeah,
if you do go, remain in the hotel. My aunt was told that.
yes,
Wow.
yeah.
The
Um,
man,
they, they, there's a friend of mine who I spoke with in Jamaica today, right? And she works in a bar. And so the bar is a street bar. So people just drive by and stop and drink and eat and stuff, right? Well, since they came out with the restrictions a couple of weeks ago, she had to go home and she couldn't stay at her home because she can't pay her rent. So she had to leave the parish and go back to her parents. So now she's at her parents. So if your job comes back, she's not so sure whether or not she's gonna be able to come back and stay because she's from that other parish down there and she's far away. And when she come back to this job here now, she not got a place to stay. And so if you think about it, think about the persons who are, and we say this on the show all the time, think about the person who sell mango up on the side of the street and they have to sell 15 mango a day to make $2,000 for the day, and out of that $1,000 of a pay for the mango them again, right? So you make a $1,000 profit. That the $1,000 a day gone. That $1,000 a day gone, and means that they're home with the kids. Where do I get food from? Where do I get anything?
Well, just so everybody is aware, $2 million was handed out to the member of parliament.
Constituency.
Yeah, the CDF, and I think it's supposed to go towards food.
Let's figure that out.
So reach out to your MP.
Blacka, you laugh again. I'm not like when you laugh, no. Okay, you laugh, you don't have a comment. I'm not like that at all. You know?
Some Dr. Clark made the announcement, and immediately there were questions about just within government itself for when the drawdown will be made available to the MPs. And it's like me paying myself, and I can't get the check to myself in time to pay. And I'm like, the red tape is just so
unwielding. So yeah, it was. It was crazy because they said they were sending it out by Easter. I know they're saying
hold on. How will the books look at the end of when they report back and say, okay, we gave out $2 million. All right, how many was really? I mean, the Blacker, help me here, but me I try to say.
I saw the announcement on April 1.
Yes.
April 1. And I thought, okay, somebody run joking. That's my story.
Help, Diana.
Well, let me tell you. Well, I did a calculation. I said that if the MP gets $2 million to distribute and he distributes it to 500 persons, the most that each person can get is $4,000.
But it's more than 500 people. But it's more than 500 persons. Just in a
All
room.
right, so we make it
In a room
5,000
alone.
people. So you divide it by 5,000 people.
Rockabessa have 5,000 people. Rockabessa alone.
Well, everybody going to get $400. If it's 5,000 of them, $400 each. You know, I always talk about the socioeconomic fallout and the need for government to support the people.
You always say that on the show.
Basic level.
You always say that on the show.
No,
Yeah.
basic level. You would not forget this $2 million handout. If I knew that I could go somewhere and I would get some supplies to keep me and my pin of them fed for 2 weeks, locked down the country for 2 weeks.
Why wouldn't they do that?
I don't know, because the ends.
So it was in the beginning.
They have done consultation.
What you say?
They do their consultations. They keep saying they're doing their consultations. I don't know with who. And they come up with these way of getting things.
Are there service fees to hand out this money?
No, I don't think so. I think it was
service fee.
No, man, they can't give vouchers and stuff. It's just
no. I'm saying it goes to the constituency, right? Someone is going to have to be hired to hand that money out.
No, I think the person already in the office, so the secretary or whatever for the MP will be the one doing it.
So everybody in a rock up come for them $400.
Like they were going to come in, like an MP, then would have go out and give out bags with food or give out the vouchers.
Or Easter bun with them picture upon it.
I think that would be the same way.
And I would so stay bad. The Easter bun them mark HTV. Oh, it's so terrible.
But the thing is that people will know, like the MPs will tell people and notify people that it's available. They just need to know.
That you're not going to reach a lot of people because 5,000 people is $400. Any calculator I use.
Me still not understand. Because you're saying that everybody is going to go to this office and line up to get them $400.
No. Listen.
They might get the $400.
Work. Usually,
stop saying it's $400. Me calculate it and say it's 5,000.
Well, we just use it. We just use it for
it. I know. Usually, what I see from the MPs is that either they have a van where they're in the van back with the bag with sugar, rice, whatever they showcase what they're giving away. The supplies and they go around and they give it to people in the different communities.
So it's not money they get in.
Some of them will get vouchers for some of the supermarkets will give vouchers, but I don't know if that's through the same program.
You don't live in Jamaica and you know them as in there more than
because I'm interested in Jamaica, so I follow up on what
and we appreciate that. But the MPs also have access to the voters list. You see people name and address and so on.
Exactly.
So there are ways to find them.
Yeah, they know who votes them.
Right.
So it's that easy find.
Okay. $2 million.
But I don't know.
I don't think it's
there can be no objectivity in the distribution of the funds then.
Okay.
You're going to resort to who voted for me because you know that listing.
All right.
Somebody else is in need,
So listen to this, all right? In our constituency in Western St. Mary, right? There's Orocabessa, there's Boscobel, there's Stewartown, Mango Valley. Are you listening? There's Galena.
No, we're not listening.
There's Galena. There's race course. There's Jacks River. There's Days Mountain, Mason Hall, Hamilton Mountain, Geddes Mountain, all of these places, and all of them have at least 4,000 people.
But some now will get
new. Not gonna last. Like they go pick and choose. Like we know, so we know it's not enough money. That much we know, but they're trying to do something. So
okay.
Few people will get.
They're
trying to do something.
Okay, all right, I'll take that.
Yes.
And also, Leo, in those communities, I think they'll look for the most vulnerable. You might live in one of those countries, but you're a teacher with a
get that.
salary. You not get that. So it's the most vulnerable.
Sometimes they get it. Sometimes they will get it.
All right, so 500 is a good number then.
Yeah, so everybody get $4,000.
Yeah. All right. The most vulnerable.
It's a help,
500.
you know. It's
Yeah.
a
But they can,
help.
so they get enough to order food by an end.
Ends. I guess I know. Yeah. I better shut up my mouth. Because how much will the service charge again? $600?
More than $600. One lady was
1,500,
complaining the
some
two
are
burger was $1,500.
Yeah, for 2 sandwich. It's
You know,
ridiculous.
she could have go buy the bread, she could have buy the mince herself, she could have sit down, the season it up and cook whole heap.
Yeah.
She go learn to cook. That I
So-
I
story.
try.
Ends is no ends. Oh boy. All right, Diana. I'll read a woman.
Read some more, yeah?
Hold on there. What I
yeah.
read? Make we hear what the people must say. Michelle.
I'll read
Okay.
that woman where we know get paid.
Romaine Douglas, Mr. Blacker Ellis. That's all he said.
Okay.
Yes,
Is
like that.
that a warning? Is that a warning?
It sounds so.
Yes, so
Is
said,
that
Lord,
a threat? Is he threatening you, Black?
Yeah, yeah.
Is he threatening you?
Yep, yep. Qualify your statement.
Is
Qualify
Bring it
your-
on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Dan Madeline said, love, LOL, they gave us some food over the weekend in the form of bun in a box with an MP on it.
That too funny.
Okay,
Then like-
Nancy Brown says, what a shameless act. The leaders of Jamaica. They're making a mockery of poor people. They're giving the money after the lockdown. They can find the people in hardship the same way they can get to the dons. Fitzroy Mackenzie said, too much corruption in the Jamaican government. Them don't want to change their whole style of politics in Jamaica.
I think
You know,
that
yeah, go
as
ahead.
Jamaicans, we probably need to demand a little bit more. And again, I'm batting for basic social needs to be met so that it's easier for everybody to survive, you know.
I'm gonna hang on to what Michelle said to the most vulnerable because you know that is actually finding gaps. Okay, so to me, the most vulnerable is identifying gaps and treating them, and so that's so. Here's our surprise, Arnaldo Brown.
Hey,
Hi.
All right,
you can hear him.
Yeah, sorry.
Arnaldo, you lose weight, man. You're maga. Look good. You look good.
I don't know about that.
Tonight we have attorney Michelle Brown. I'd introduced you to Michelle once upon a time.
Banger,
We have Dr.
Yes,
Huh?
banger.
Banger, you're starstruck.
What me say? What me say?
Yes, bro.
Oh my God! I'm not even brown and white. Don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Michelle Fanger, thank you so much. And then we have Dr. Diana Davis Smith. And then we have your good friend Blacker Ellis.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are trying to keep ourselves straight, and you are the perfect person to answer this question for us. So I'm not gonna let you rest or anything. We had an issue here talking about the government gave out $2 million for each constituency, for them to do what it is to get people. Tell us how is that distributed as a former minister? Tell us how is that distributed among communities?
So here's my disclaimer, right? I have not really been following it very closely, to be honest with you, right? And what the comments I would make would basically be general, based on probably a little bit of what I heard Minister Clark said.
Yes.
And I want to put it into context.
Come on.
There is a mechanism called the Community Development Fund. And each member of parliament is allocated between $15 and $20 million, depending on the budget, right, for that particular term. But this is not money that comes to the members of parliament. It goes through various agencies, what they refer to as implementing agency, and that depends on the program. So for instance, if you want to fix a road, there's the National Works Agency, there's the Parish Council. If you're doing something in the social space, there's the Social Development Commission, and there are other organizations, right? So the member of parliament will select the organization that best suits the nature of the intervention. So in relation to this $2 million, I would say it is a grant. One could say it's humanitarian, and therefore a member of parliament might elect to use the Social Development Commission as the vehicle to which the funds will go. So what will then happen is that persons who have need will present themselves, and you know, each member of parliament is different. Some people may have a committee that will look at what these needs are, what is requested, and make that recommendation. And then by making that recommendation, now you supply name, TRN, and indicate the amount of funds that you are allocating to that particular person. And then the implementing agency will draw the check to them. Okay. And then again, depending on the program, because you either draw the check directly to the beneficiary, or depending on the nature of the program, let us say that they want a service or that they want supplies, the check could be drawn to the service provider or to the supplier.
It's a good thing you come on. It's such refreshing to hear you, because you know these guys are taking me wide, you know, and you know understand the thing, right? So it
But listen, let me just be clear, right? Yes. You know, I was the subject of a Gleaner editorial very early in my tenure as member of parliament, because I declared upfront that I supported the Community Development Fund.
Okay.
And the editorial board of the Gleaner viewed the Constituent Development Fund as a pork barrel.
Oh,
right. So there was a headline: Brown discovers pork. Young Brown discovers pork. Right. But truth be told, I did not mind, because I was already aware of how the establishment viewed you know, programs like the CDF.
Yes.
But let us be clear, there are some people in Jamaica, regrettably, that the only access to resources that they have is their elected member of parliament. Now, unless the member of parliament is going to thief money, right, which I was going to do, and which I didn't do, but you know, money has to come from somewhere, right? Yeah. And invariably, it is the taxpayers' money. They are getting back their money, right? And this is not something that is unique to Jamaican politics. Any political system, it is there. In the US, they call it earmarks.
Yes.
Right? Same thing. So how else are you going to get to the base, to the grassroots, to those people who don't have any access?
But the pork means that it's not earmarked, though, right? The pork means that it's not earmarked. It's just
they view it as a slush fund,
right?
Which is why they describe it as pork, and they believe that the motivation of the distribution really is that it's gonna be just partisans and so on. But again, that comes down to the member of parliament himself and how he operates.
Yes.
My approach yes, I'm a member of the People's National Party. I ran on the PNP ticket, won with the PNP between 2011 and 2016. But then when I became member of parliament, it was everybody in the constituency. So I was not so much concerned with whether the person was PNP or JLP, as long as we could establish what the need was. And there was a criteria that the persons could meet. So no one could successfully say in that regard that I was
Yes.
partisan.
Understand. On this show, we read the articles. We have a reader woman, right?
You're not punning on the reader woman business right here. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
No.
Diana.
Yes, no pun intended. But the truth of the matter, though, is that this is one reader woman who don't get paid. That's why I have flags to indicate my line of business.
Well, I was just going to ask if you have flags.
Not even flags. Them don't give me them. Just take me up.
Well, probably need to get some flags.
Yes, at least them could give me some flags.
A couple of candles, though.
Yeah,
And
candles.
candles.
Yes, and candles.
With Jesus on it.
This thing come with no benefits. I must feel like a politician. No benefits.
All right. So we're waiting for you, Diana. You're not going to pay for this one.
Can't you get this thing to come back up? Okay.
You want me to read some of the comments?
Yes, please. We want the comment. Yes, in the meantime.
Okay, Nancy Brown says the ex-MP account sounds plausible. However, it does not work that way in principle. There's corruption in the process. Sometimes it does not reach the most vulnerable, and the majority elected in that area benefits the most.
He said that. We are agreeing with you that sometimes these things happen, and it depends. He says it depends on that MP, right? Is that what you said, right?
No, it does depend on the member of parliament. But again, that comment is not surprising because it is the stereotypical comment that you get. And those persons don't have the benefit of being in the theater, right? So I appreciate their perspective, but I would say that more often than not, those persons who are vulnerable are actually reached unless the particular individual is biased. I can give you a joke. I mean, PNP people used to complain that I give in labor right things.
So that's okay, right? That's okay.
And I mean, I had no issue with it.
Yeah, but to be honest though, like looking at like in my area of North Trelawney, like first we had PNP running where we start, but now we actually have a JLP also. Our MP is Tova Hamilton. But I see where she's doing a lot of these things for the most vulnerable because like the communities I know.
Right.
And she's in those communities.
Sure. Like, yes, not to interrupt you, but any sensible politician will go where the need is, irrespective of whether it is orange or green.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Understand.
Yeah, that's true. And she does go beyond that, to be honest.
Right.
I see.
That's good to hear.
I know. And
That's
the people I know.
That's
so
good to hear.
I see, yeah, she tries.
All right. Let's get out of the party thing now. So let's go back to the story.
Yeah, but I don't know that we're in party thing. Just to be clear that our opinions are our opinions,
right.
It is all perspectives that we're sharing.
Yes.
We might bash one person today, tomorrow we bash someone else. We bash them all together.
Yeah.
We're not advocating one way for that. I want to be clear to everybody that our opinions is our opinions that we're sharing. And you must at least allow us that in our space. Okay? All right. Let us agree to agree.
Okay.
Despite what Arnaldo has said, I still maintain that we need a system that caters for the core needs of the humans in Jamaica so that everybody can just build on that. If you can meet my basic needs, at a very minimal level, then we're good to go.
But right
But
up.
remember though, you know, outside of the CDF, there's the PATH program, and I don't want anybody
No,
to.
but you see, you're getting into this path thing going to cause another problem for me, because again, when I look, there is so much disparity in the path program.
No, sure.
I have to declare that I don't have nothing in order to get something.
No, sure. Listen, it is not perfect, but I'm gonna make this point. The PATH program is a very leading program, not just in Jamaica, but it's been patterned elsewhere. Capri recently did a study talking about some of the improvements that could be done to it. And I agree with the recommendations that they have made, but let us not throw the baby out with the bathwater. And you see, there's this tendency for persons to bristle when a program is developed by an administration, and the PATH program has crossed both political organization, and it is a very significant social safety net in Jamaica. Is it perfect? The answer to that obviously is no. Can it be improved? The Capri study points some ways that it can be improved, and I believe if those are taken on board, then it will have a greater impact on the persons. One of the points that they made was that you're burning the poor with requirements in order for them to get the money that they can't meet because they don't have the money.
Right.
So that is counterintuitive. So what you do is not to rail against PATH, but to say, let us tweak that. Let us take out that, or let us lower that requirement. But the PATH program as a program is an effective program, and it needs to be celebrated,
reevaluated, and
improved.
Coming from like where my mom's school is, and the school I went to is a Cane Peace district, Wakefield of North Trelawney. A lot of people and children rely on it. And to me, it's run fairly well to the school, the principal, because the principal, I think 2 teachers oversee the program to make sure that the required children are on the program. The ones that are in need are getting it. So it depends on who is running in that area.
True, but yes, not to interrupt you. I agree with you fully, but again, give you an example. You may have persons who live in Portmore. They have running water, they have fridge, they have stove, but they may be in need, but those things may disqualify them from accessing PATH.
Wow.
Which may not be the best outcome. So again, I'm simply saying that, there are weaknesses that must be addressed. Let's address them. But the PATH program as a social safety net
can be improved.
Is a good program.
It is a good program.
All right. And I still maintain my position that PATH does not represent the solution, that it doesn't address sufficient persons across the board, and there is a need. Like you just said, Arnaldo, there are people who seemingly have acquired things that they've worked long and hard for, but they still do have a need.
Right.
And because of that which they have acquired, they are disqualified. So for me, PATH is not working.
Right.
I see it every day as an educator. So I maintain that whilst I can agree in principle, the concept of it, we need a system in Jamaica. If it's PATH or PATH +2 or PATH 2, whatever you want to call it, that caters to the basic needs. So I can send my children to school and I know they're going to get an education, that they can have a shelter over their heads, and I know that I can afford this housing, this basic option that tides me over for another period.
Arnaldo, hold on it, Arnaldo. I don't know if you know who Diana Davis Smith is. She'll take you on for the whole day. She's the president of the Catholic College of Mandeville, see, right? So she come from a heart-jerking space, okay?
Yes,
they take her on
every day. But let me read the news.
I'm not disagreeing with the points that she has made. I mean, those are valid points. But I'm simply saying I would not discount PATH. And you have made the point is you have PATH 0.1, part 2.0, part 3.0.
Give me part
You understand?
2.2 that
So
addresses
you
all the
have to
other
keep improving on it.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Right. So part in its present existence is not meeting the needs as I envision them at this stage in our life. Jamaica has gone through so many years, and every year we come around and there's every 4 years or 6 or 8 years, there's another project. We need to have a long-term plan that addresses.
Yeah, but PATH is not a project. PATH is not a project.
Program.
PATH is a program. It is a social safety net.
I don't care how you want to define
Right.
it as a
No,
politician.
it's not
I'm
how,
telling
that's
you,
how I want to
PATH for
define
me
it. Is what it
a
is.
program, and it's
What
not
it is.
working.
Can we move?
Meeting
Can we
the
move on?
needs.
Can we move from path right now? I want to move from this
No, we're
path.
going to stay
This
on this
path, yeah,
path.
this path, I can't go to the wrong place.
Let me simply say a soft answer turns
Turn.
away path.
Zero.
All right.
Both passionate. That's good. You're passionate.
Yes. Can't free them all at all.
Passion.
Yes, but no, man. We need something that addresses it. I see too often. Too often. The news item next comes up. But look here, not any more pleasant than what we're talking about. It says entertainers hit back at Prime Minister over condemnation of violent lyrics.
Woo!
I don't know if you want me to
Michelle
read
go
that.
say right now. Yes, she a drink up her thing. Yeah, me know what Michelle go say. I'm giving her the space right now to say it. Michelle, take it on.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say. I've said it over and over again. We cannot blame the entertainers. So I guess continue.
So can we blame the lyrics? Can we blame the lyrics?
But
The
they're
lyrics
talking
by
about
themselves, not jumping up and attacking nobody.
Yeah.
No, but you say the truth is though, I disagree with the analysis that has been put forward about the music as a driver of the violence in the society.
Right. Absolutely.
Violence in Jamaica is of long historic establishment.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to Africans being brought here forcefully, you go back to the plantations, Jamaica had the most uprisings in the Western Hemisphere during the period of slavery. We can go forward to the Mount Bay Rebellion, we can come forward to the 1930s in terms of the labor riots and all of those things.
For a long time we are war.
We can come into the modern period, right? Violence has been a feature of Jamaican society, and that is not to justify violence.
Exactly. I was about to say that. You sound like you're justifying violence right there.
No. But understanding, for want of a better word, the historical context will help us in terms of how we approach solving it. And I'm making the point that a repressive approach is the wrong approach to take in seeking to solve violence. So I'm not in support of this extended use of states of emergency. Zozos can work if the emphasis in Zozos is on social intervention.
Yes.
So what we really need is to treat the thing as a public health crisis, a cultural crisis, a social crisis, and it will require re-socialization on a massive scale, and that is going to take time.
And I'm going to come right back to that because somebody else believed that. But I saw Blacker did this, and I need to understand what that means.
I was just cut and clear. Cut and clear.
Oh, you don't want a part of that.
It's beating a dead horse. To keep on harping on this, trying to connect violent lyrics to actual violence in Jamaica. It's a dead horse. But there's a reason for it. I think people over expect in terms of what the arts can do. I used to promote theater, and ask anybody who promote theater, the ads don't make the audience come. All the ads do is provide information. People come because of word of mouth or something else that make them want to come. The ads don't make them come. The ads don't make you buy the thing. The thing will tell you what the thing is. You decide somewhere else. So but you see, they believe though that in the same way they invest money in getting a nice rhythm, a nice special from the singer them to promote campaigns.
Don't play it.
Yeah, don't place. Those also don't affect voting. People vote because they get tangible things. They will sing the song, dance to the rhythm, eat the free curry goats, and vote where them think they have their best interests are. So the same thing with the music. They will dance to the songs and sing and jump and go on, but it will not change their action. It will take targeted intervention that will make people do one thing or another thing.
I'm gonna back up.
Start blame music.
I'm gonna back up that. You know why? Because Saturday I was on my show and I was playing songs that I danced in the dance hall too. You know, Chaparangs, Beanie Man, Bounty, and Spraga, and all of these guys. Now, I hear these songs all the time when I'm on the dance floor. I dance, and I love dancing to them, but I never listen to the lyrics. So I am playing to an audience now, and I just pull the rhythm because we know the rhythm, boom, and put it down. And by virtue of playing it for an audience, I know I have to listen to it, and I'm saying, but Jesus, I don't say, boom, I have to throw that, I have to dash, I keep throwing away the music. So I don't know if I'm backing you up, Blacker, in the sense that the lyrics probably do not, because not everybody hears it anyway, right? And even if them hear it, them now respond to it if you leave and go cuss the body with them or go shoot a person outside of the club. I can't see that. I see you smiling, Arnaldo.
No, I'm agreeing with what both of you are saying, and I think it's a bit of desperation, quite frankly. You know, let me tell you, in the 1970s, there was the introduction of the Suppressions of Crime Act. Suppression of Crime Act gave extensive powers to the police, and that did not ameliorate our crime situation in Jamaica. In fact, it got worse. And by the time we got to 2014, some 20 odd years after its introduction, it was abolished, right? This current administration has come now, and it is essentially following the same approach of emphasizing suppression rather than looking at social intervention, which is going to
just
take...
explain for the people who are out there. Explain the suppression. Explain that for them, please.
Well, draconian measures, meaning you give the police you suspend your civil liberties. Then that is what is happening under the state of emergency. Okay. So a policeman can arrest you without any suspicion. You can be detained indefinitely. In the case of 5 young men, they were detained for 1 entire year. They weren't brought before the court. They were not charged. And the court ruled that their detention under the state of emergency was unconstitutional, right? So the point is, but you see what is happening in Jamaica is that people are in a space of fear. And once they're in that space and state of fear, they're prepared to negotiate their civil liberties for security. And it really is not making us safer, because when you detain 9,000 young men from inner city communities, just because they come from inner city communities, and none of them are charged, none of them goes before the court, what is it that you're creating? You're creating anger, because you would have profiled these young persons, violated their person, violated their rights. Some of them are lawfully engaged, they lose them employment because of their detention and so on. How is it that you are solving the problem? You're not solving the problem, right? So it is a panacea. And then the Prime Minister now comes and throw what I would call fuel to the fire with this false narrative about the music that is creating the fueling the violence. And truth be told, if you just using your commentary just now, Leo, if you trace the music, it shifted in the 70s, the 60s, late 60s and 70s, when there was an introduction into Jamaican politics of gun violence.
Yes.
And then the songs about rude boys start to come out in that period.
Yes.
And there was a shift. So if anything, what the music was actually doing was reflecting what was happening in the society, not causing it.
It's looking at the society
and telling the story in the best way that we are able to tell the story. And bear in mind that the music comes from the bowel of the people.
Yes.
And where is this thing manifesting itself than inside these communities where the talent is, and the talent is basically saying, this is what is going on.
This is what I'm seeing.
I'll never forget this song that came out, and it was banned, right? And it's a word of it I remember. If you're hungry again, you're gonna see me 9. If you're hungry again, you're gonna see me 9.
Look into
you understand what
eyes.
I'm saying to you? Look, exactly. And that was a cry from below to say, look here, we are suffering down here, and we're not prepared to deal with the suffering.
That was a bounty killer, right?
The only thing you guys understand is if we take up a weapon and arm ourselves and turn it against you, that is when we're going to pay some attention.
Right.
So I believe that the comments of the Prime Minister is unfortunate because it betrays their lack of appreciation of the breadth of the problem and how to address the problem. And it's not because the solutions are not there. I accidentally came up on a IDB report that was done. I don't want to quote here, but it was done probably in the early 2000s, right? Dr. Harriet was one of the researchers, and they have several recommendations inside here. I don't see the government pursuing none of them, right? And truth is, and again, this might seem self-serving, but between 2011 and 2016, there was a Unite for Change initiative, which recognized that violence is cultural. And if you are going to address it, there must be a cultural shift.
Yeah.
And that is not going to come by virtue of draconian measures.
Does be an understanding of the
right. And deploying programs that will change the minds and the attitude, values of people.
Diana, you've been burning up. I see your face. Diana.
I didn't get you.
I said you've been burning up. I see your face.
No, I've been toying with Path and perhaps the redesign of Path and some critical things that need to be incorporated, only because I really have to endure it. And I see it. Simple things like, young people getting young ladies. How do you make sure that the vouchers that they give are used for what they're used for? So you have teenagers and young women in the family, and you get a voucher and they don't have sanitary napkins, and we're going to get as basic as that, and the voucher gone to use to do something else. How do you zero in on it? There should be somewhere that I can go and just pick them up, because we need it. And this is where I'm saying that we just keep going around. And I don't want, you see the problem with Arnaldo, him do too much research.
Isn't that what we need? Isn't that what we need to use to Diana, you are the one who believe in research.
Yes, but that is what caused Arnaldo, because him do too much research. He must believe that it can do so and so and so and so and so, but he will have to go back to school for that.
That's another thing about Path. Isn't it before the parliament?
When did we hold on? When did we get back on Path? I thought we were talking about a while ago on music.
Listen.
Path is a work in progress.
Exactly. And I mean, again, I'm gonna say, the Path program has its positives, it has its negative, and none of the things that you have indicated that is wrong with it, I would contend with you about that. But again, there is an underlying issue with the beneficiaries of Path, and you can't escape that, because if you get a voucher to use in a particular direction and you go and use it otherwise, what is that saying about the recipient? That is not a problem with Path.
The recipient needs to be managed. Because yes, it could be a
But,
recipient.
if you manage the recipient, you're taking away a lot of freedoms, though, isn't it?
No,
Well,
but if you make
you
certain
say
basic things
again is
available for
a question of that person's priority, really.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
let me
but
give
it
you an
might- but look
example.
here.
Let me give you an example. And your thing is a live thing, and you may think that I am just theoretical, but you know, in my constituency, we did a back to school program, right? We did not give monies to the parents or to the students. We gave the monies to the bookshop,
Yes.
so that you go to the bookshop and you collect your books. And it was to address the very same issue that you just raised, because Jamaicans are ingenious people.
Okay, was there a pushback on that, Arnaldo? Was there a pushback?
No, there was no pushback on it. But
Okay.
but put it this way, I believe that it was sufficiently effective in terms of, you know, ensuring that the money is spent for what it was designed for.
Mhm.
But that still didn't prevent somebody from probably
Taking
going and
Go sell it somewhere else, right?
negotiating with the book people to give them cash instead of the book. I'm not saying that it happened.
Hold on.
But the point is that, you know, you can't police people 24/7.
Yes. So 1 second now. I cut off Michelle Fanger, not Michelle Brown. I cut off Michelle Fanger, and she had something to say. So
Yeah, I was just saying that I was listening to Parliament where they do have the PASS program under review. Because I remember like Wholeness, the Prime Minister's wife, she was raising the same issue of people not being able to get the PASS program that should actually be getting it. Or, you know, like how they disperse the fund. He was actually gave a good suggestion. I think PASS have their own list. And like she was saying that what they need to do is to provide the MPs, if it was not a violation of any rights, for them to actually can go through the list to see individuals if they are actually in need or if they're not, you know, like they will know in their constituency.
I don't think the MP would need to review the path list, quite frankly, but there should be a rule that if the MP recommends somebody to the program, and they should take a serious look at it.
Yeah.
So and even that is fraught with difficulties, because you're trying to create a situation where, you know, there's not undue influence or bias.
Yeah.
Right. So I agree that the matrix in relation to how you determine need, that needs to be tweaked, and some of the requirements needs to be done away with.
But that's what they were. That's what they were suggesting Parliament.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to end this particular discussion because I want to get back to Diana. I want to get back to you on this music thing. That's what I wanted, Diana. I wanted your perspective on Diana. You got right back a path.
But that's why I wrap up fast before you move on. Like, what is the outcome Dr. Diana one? Just wrap it up.
Diana read one paragraph, I think, from the article about the artists hitting back against the Prime Minister's claim, and we found ourselves right back at the part. It's not. But I tell you, it's just the beauty of the metric, because I'll tell you something. The real part to put a stand for program of advancement to health and education, right? It's really about alleviating, ensuring that poverty doesn't prevent students from accessing health and education, right? And interestingly, Brother Arnaldo mentioned the Bounty Killer song, "Look Into My Eyes," right? Which I argued vehemently that song should not be banned because Bounty sing it. Those lyrics are beautiful poetry. If Della Manley sit down with her guitar and sing that same song, which is great, poignant. But when a guy from Seaview Garden say, "Look into my eyes, tell me what you see. Do you see my pain?" Right? Poverty is the thing that driving crime. Poverty, desperation, and lack of morals. So part about health, we have a very unhealthy society, unhealthy mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So we need that part to health and wellness and education that will address those real moral attitudes and values that will then prevent crime. So it's not a mock-up that we move back from the Prime Minister's statement and the artist's response to past, because poverty is the real thing, the real issue. That's how I see it.
And poverty also helps. I'm gonna challenge you though. Go on something I said a while ago. But poverty also helps to create the creativity in the music, in the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah, poverty of the mind, but also poverty creates the desperate to make things better. You find creative ways of doing things and saying things. True.
You know, I must confess that, you know, I am not sold on the poverty link necessarily, because there are many poor
exactly what I was going to take on with him. That's exactly what I was going to ask him about. Go ahead.
Who are not criminals, and there are many rich people who are criminals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with you though that social exclusion is not healthy for society. And what we have in our inner city communities is exactly that, social exclusion. People don't believe that they are able to access the tools legitimately that they need to move up in the society, right? And that has to be addressed. And I hear it in relation, and carrying it back to that direction again, I hear it in the conversation surrounding path, is that what we have done in a sense is to sort of institutionalize the hurdles that poor people have to jump over to access benefits. And that was not the intention of the program. And
right.
to the extent that that is happening, that must be addressed. And I agree that it must be.
And that was one of the recommendations coming out of the Capri, right?
Exactly, right? So I would recommend. I don't always agree with Capri, I must tell you, but
me too.
On the issue of path and the reforms that they have suggested, I am in agreement with most of what they have put on the table.
Okay, so what happens now, Arnaldo? What happens after these recommendations are? Who's going to take it and say, you know, these are good recommendations? What's going to happen? Tell me.
Well, put it this way. Beg your pardon. But put it this way. Capri has promoted their effectiveness of getting and the ears.
You muted yourself. Oh, there. Okay, there you go.
Sorry, I'm on my phone. A call came in and muted me.
That's all right.
Right. So what I was saying is that Capri celebrates their effectiveness in terms of getting the policy. But look, they have put it out there. We are having the discussion. Policymakers are hearing it. Capri is funded by international players, so it's not like they ignore it. But if the people on the ground, so like my good friend from the Catholic College, passionate about this, because they're a member of parliament, Miss Clark, and tell her what her views are. Miss Clark is a new parliamentarian and she should be looking to make a mark. This would be one area that she can make a mark in, right? Take it to the floor of the parliament and advocate for the shift in the policy.
And there are two of them. There are two of them on here now. One from Upper.
Trelawney.
Yeah. Hague. Upper something. Diana, help me here. Upper class Hague or something like that. Where she's from, and they can call. They have access to their PM.
The backbenchers in parliament can latch on to these things and push their government to move in the direction.
Yes.
Right. You know, so the conversation is going on. Capri made their study. They came on radio. They were public about it. The powers that be listening to these radio programs. Persons on here have access to these member of parliament. Some of us are in WhatsApp chat with them. So we can say, look here, here's some recommendation, you know, look into it and implement it.
Yes. Michelle, go ahead.
No, just say, like, interestingly, like you're saying, to do all of this. Like when I was watching the parliament special on dealing with this past program, it looked like they were making a lot of suggestions, arguing back and forth for action. Like I was impressed. Like they were actually putting the people first. The member of parliament. They were actually putting people first. It wasn't like a party thing. They were actually advocating for the people.
That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear.
Will come
Well,
ahead.
well, listen, my approach was, if the people are in a better position, my job as member of parliament is much easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Blacker,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go to you. No, you're 4x4. I'm gonna go to Michelle for the wrap up.
Well, as Mr. Brown has said, and as I have always said, the quickest way to get things done is to access your member of parliament to address issues that you're facing, so that they too can bring it to the floor of parliament to address these issues. So they are your voice. So use your voice. And as always with COVID a big deal. We see the numbers in Jamaica. So please sanitize, wear your mask, social distance. When the vaccine is available to your class or group, I hope you will take it.
Arnaldo, when your time comes, I'd like you to tell us what the status is on vaccine. So when you keep that in mind when we get to you. All right. Diana.
Well, my advice would be try not to contract COVID-19.
Oh my God. Diana.
Well, as usual, it's great to be here. Want to recognize all those friends who made an effort to be here. Connie, Scarlett, Cheryl, thank you very much for sending me a private note to say, hey, you're on. For me, path is not the solution. We really do need to, there's so many things to change in it for it to be effective, that you need a new bridge. I think that the social fallout and the economic fallout evidence in Jamaica now, because of COVID and its continued implications on individuals earning power. Tourism sector for one is critical to it. Persons in private education, how they're impacted as well. There needs to be a basic and a core safety net that is crafted, mindful of the craftiness of us in Jamaica. And although spoke about the fact that they gave the vouchers for education, but people still try to talk the bookshop out of it and to get the cash. So we need to sit at the table, recognize that it's not just bank accounts that matter or addresses that ought to define the path, but other people need that support as well. And I continue to advocate for it. A social
I hope that
for all persons across all sectors that we can tap into, and to teach social and emotional learning in schools, so that we can better manage the emotions that are raging, the violence against women, the inability for us to express ourselves because we don't hold fast to anything these days. And it really burning me. But thank
you. Before I go on to anybody else, I want to ask you this. Do you see another program out there, not project, another program out there that would replace path? I'm not in the thing of replacing anything. I think I believe that there's a way we can go step by step, 1.2, 1.3, that kind of thing. But do you see another program out there that you would have suggested to replace path effectively?
I don't have a name for what we need, except in that I maintain we need a social safety net that takes care of the basic, like I keep saying, Maslow's hierarchy. There are certain basic needs that people need, and the government need to have a system, regardless of political parties, whichever party. We Jamaicans need a system that ensures some core basic needs are met. We Jamaicans need to ensure that people who are at that, women who are at that stage of their lives, have somewhere that they can go and collect their monthly things that they need without a price tag or anything. It must be free. We need things like that. I don't know what you want to call it. Call it the Diana program. I'm fine with that.
Fielding. All right. Thank you so much. Blacker.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to poverty to just expand the idea that poverty is not just about finances, poverty of the mind, poverty of the spirit. And I think what we're doing here is very important and very vital. And if we can expand, to go back to path, if we can expand the Asian path which means health, to go beyond just physical health, but spiritual health and emotional health, as Diana alluded, that we can teach what we're doing here, for example, this evening, with having a conversation where we can disagree and argue and laugh. We need more of that. We need to really generate and engender a better sense of critical thinking, analysis. And if we do that, then a violent song won't create a violent man. That can analyze, dance, reject, deconstruct, and move on. So they really move towards really building spiritual, emotional, and intellectual wealth.
I agree.
Poverty, right? So when you spoke of poverty, you weren't thinking of the financial poverty. You're thinking of how the people are seeing themselves, how the people are being treated or mistreated or and downtrodden. That's what you're talking about when you say poverty, because those
of spirit and mind and soul.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Arnaldo.
Yes. Well, thank you. Pleasure being on. I will support what Black has said about the contending of ideas. We need to reach a place where people are able to express themselves freely without any fear of repression. I may not agree with points you're making. You may not agree with points that I'm making, but at least we are respectful enough to hear each other's points of view. And what I would say again is that Jamaica does have social safety net programs. PATH program is but one of them. There's National Health Fund, which is another one. There's the Jamaica Drug for the Elderly program, and there are a range of them. And these programs were subject to, again, research by Capri, who said that they weren't meeting their mark and so on. And as I said, I don't agree with everything that Capri puts out there, right? Because I believe that they come with certain biases, but at the same time, I don't dismiss what they have put out there. So we can accept that things are not perfect and that there's need for improvement. And what I would say is that where the major gap is that we identify what the solutions are, but we fail to implement them, or we implement them to an extent, and that extent may not be sufficient to get the results that we need to get. I believe that PATH is a starting point that can be improved, should be improved, but more importantly, what we have to do is to create an environment of social, economic inclusion for our people. And if we're able to do that, and persons are able to benefit from the opportunities that are present in the society because they are given the tools to access those opportunities, then Jamaica will experience, in my view, less social tension that we now have that tend to manifest itself in part in violence.
You didn't say.
I think there is a comprehensive approach that needs to be taken, and that these approaches have been identified, but we don't have the level of commitment that is needed because people are trying to short circuit what is going to take a while, in my view, to solve.
Arnaldo, you did not say, I believe that this is going to resolve. That's all right. Don't go there. Let's don't go there. Thank you. What a wonderful conversation this is, man. I love the fact that we're able to agree and disagree. And me like where Diana said, but me have to suck it up. I mean, like where Arnold said, but me have to suck it up. I really enjoyed tonight. This is really a good conversation. Michelle, she never partake too much tonight, but generally she have some strong opinion, and I love when she have this strong opinion and cuss and quarrel and thing, but she didn't come out too hard tonight. But I'm glad that we had this discussion, and I hope we can continue this. I hope we can continue this some next week or something like that. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank everybody who's watching in and the persons who have commented here. And we're really happy to be doing this. It's a good, we call it again, feel good and therapy. That's the word. It was therapy.
Therapeutic.
Really very therapeutic. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
You come to Jamaica, you go down a mineral bath and get therapy.
Hey, which part mineral bath there?
Down a Milk River, only one mineral bath you have. Them said they have some more, but that and none that.
Okay, okay.
Milk River.
Milk River.
All right, guys.
Happy birthday, Nikki.
Come on, all right. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Thanks.
Take
Thank
care.
you for having me on.
Bye-bye.